What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for a SmackDown review for February the 26th, 2021. We have ourselves the build to WrestleMania continuing. Fast Lane, of course, is coming by, and then the next month. And Bianca Belair tonight will make her decision, and we will have our second championship match official for WrestleMania. We go out to the ring for, of course, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman's public address, as they do every single week. Which, honestly, this is one downside to Roman Reigns and them right now, is I'm getting kind of bored with this. We see it every single week. When Seth Rollins was heel on Raw, he would come out, it seemed like, every single week to start the show, to, especially when he was at the Authority, to just have a State of the Union address, it felt like. It'd be nice if every once in a while SmackDown started with a match. Just would feel nice if you would change that. So, we see what happened this past Sunday with him being with Edge attacking Roman Reigns after the Elimination Chamber match and his waste of a championship match. Reigns says it's no secret SmackDown needs him, and the same thing can be said about the Elimination Chamber. If it needed him, so he answered the call. He goes about the win and how he operates at a higher level than anyone else in the ring, but this wasn't perfect because of one man, Edge. He admits Edge got one. He hit a spear in Reigns' ring on Reigns' night, and then Edge pointed to the sign to make it official for WrestleMania 37. Reigns says Edge doesn't want it and doesn't need it in his life, so Reigns is going to give Edge a chance to back out the match, scram, go back home to a beautiful family. He's a father and a husband. Reigns doesn't want to hurt him, appreciates his comeback and his legacy, but doesn't want him to hurt him, tells Edge to get through his thick head. A man like Edge just doesn't stand a chance against a man like Reigns. Okay, so let me get this straight. You spent weeks, not a week, weeks, wanting this guy to acknowledge you as the main event of WrestleMania. And then when he does that, you're like, I know it's a heel thing to do, but Roman Reigns isn't that type of heel. Roman Reigns should not be that type of heel. He should be like, you made the biggest mistake of your life on Sunday, and that's just going to make it more enjoyable when I beat the living hell out of you and send you back to retirement. Why is he now coming out here afraid of Edge? What the hell? Again, he spent weeks wanting Edge to acknowledge him as the main event of WrestleMania. Then he did that this past Sunday, and all of a sudden, I want him, I'll give him one chance to back out of the match. It's like, are you kidding me? Why would you have Roman Reigns act like a coward like this? I mean, there's other ways he acts like a coward, which, of course, having Jey Uso do all his dirty work. But if Kevin Owens comes out, wants a match, and attacks him from behind, he knows he's going to go beat the hell out of Kevin Owens in his next title match. But here, Edge does what Roman wanted him to do, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. I want to... the big man, like... Oh, Hall of Famer speared me, so I'm afraid to fight him now. Are you kidding me? That doesn't even make any sense why they did that. Out comes Daniel Bryan. Bryan says Reigns really described his title defense on Sunday as near perfect. Bryan just had to come out and say from his perspective, he agrees. He mocks Reigns and says some people think it was cowardly to come out and defend right after the Chamber match ended. And it makes him not a real champion at all. He says he's not one of those people. He doesn't come out to complain. Those are just rumors he heard. But he was baffled by the head of the table defending his title in the second match of the night instead of on the main event. Or would that have given him way too much time? Bryan goes on about Reigns wanting to leave a legacy and says he has a chance for him to prove the doubters wrong. He proves no comparison between Reigns and Bryan and proposes a battle again at Fast Lane 1-on-1. Jey steps into Bryan and asks why he's out here, and all he hears is a bunch of excuses. Jey says Bryan lost to the best, and if he wants to get another shot, he has to go through Jey. Jey wants Bryan to be careful or he's going to get got. Uso backs off and Reigns steps to Bryan to close, so Reigns asks if Bryan really wants him to hurt him. Again, Bryan goes and respects to respond, but Jay attacks him from behind. Sends Uso sends Bryan to the floor and follows him, then sends him over the barrier. As the boos get louder, Uso struts away as Reigns and Paul and Heyman join him. Heyman joins them, raises the title. Reigns raises the title, and Bryan being out of sight. Uso, Reigns, and Heyman march up the ramp. So to come, Bianca Belair will make her WrestleMania 37 decision. Also, the Street Profits versus Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin, as they have been vehemently told that you are not getting a title rematch and you have to work your way from the bottom, which I'm fine with. Now, again, what the fuck was the point of having... I guess it's the way they want him to be, like, oh, he talks all big and bad for the most part, but when somebody does what he wants, it just, I don't know, it felt stupid. It felt absolutely stupid. I mean, that's probably just me. Probably not the only one. I'm probably the only one who thought that, but Bryan, like, you asked this guy, you told this guy, demanded this guy for weeks. Maybe it's because he speared you, made you feel less of yourself. Who knows? But I am not looking forward to this match. There is nothing they do between now and WrestleMania that's going to change my mind for Roman Reigns versus Edge. I do not care about this match. I would rather see Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, not at Fast Lane, than Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Versus Roman Reigns. Edge shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble, but of course it was his idea because he's selfish, and it's just showing it. Daniel Bryan and Edge both have some kind of creative control in their contract. They pretty much make decisions on what happens with their character, who they wrestle, who they can put over, who they will lose to. And clearly, Edge doesn't want to lose to anybody. He's not going to have a match until WrestleMania. Whereas Daniel Bryan's out here working with guys like Jey Uso, Cesaro, and others, putting them over on the way to WrestleMania. You see, one's being selfless in Daniel Bryan, and one's being selfish like Edge. Edge has been back since the Royal Rumble and has yet to put anybody over in a match. Goes backstage, talks to 5 or 6 guys of how great they are, how good they could be, and how great it would be to wrestle them, but yet you're not out here wrestling them. So I don't want to hear anyone trying to defend Edge being in the WrestleMania main event on night 1 or night 2. So the simple fact is, he's not. He's out there just for his selfish needs, and he's going to probably beat Roman Reigns, which will make absolutely no fucking sense, just because Edge has to have that spotlight one more time. It's pathetic. So Adam Pearce are backstage talking about being excited for their options. Edge walks up and mentions Daniel Bryan possibly getting a title shot at Fastlane. Edge says they need to talk, and we go to commercial break. Back from break, and we see Roman Reigns talking to Jey Uso. Jey apologizes and says he couldn't just let Daniel Bryan disrespect him out here. Reigns says there's nothing to apologize for as long as Uso gets the job done, that's all that matters. Tells him to handle it, and they walk off. Edge is backstage with Adam Pearce again. He mentions how they thought they wanted he and Daniel Bryan to face Roman Reigns and Jey Uso at Fastlane. Pearce says that was the tentative, and before Bryan made his challenge to Reigns, he brings up how Bryan could beat Jey in the Fastlane title match tonight. And then they have a bigger spectacle, but the Universal title still is more important. Pearce means no disrespect to Edge, so Edge says none taken and walks off. So apparently, we were going to get Roman and Jey versus Edge and Daniel Bryan. That's stupid. So this is how they're going to put people over with Edge? Have him in a tag team match with Daniel Bryan? No. Like I said, Edge isn't going to wrestle till WrestleMania. Him even mentioning that there was a possibility him and Daniel Bryan were going to team up, give me a break. That wasn't going to happen. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio versus Otis and Chad Gable of the Alpha Academy. As we saw last week, this possibly had Otis turn heel by getting disqualified as he took out Rey Mysterio. I don't know. I don't know, if Otis is actually heel, but this match goes for a while here, and we had Otis drags Reigns to the corner, goes for a second rope. Otis nails a big flying splash, aka big flying splash, gets the win, and that is that. Then we go to Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And Apollo Crews has got a gimmick change. So we see how Crews injured Intercontinental Champion Big E last week in the steel steps. Crews stands in the ring and smiles as the fans boo. He's wearing new ring gear and a scarf that he raises and puts around his neck. He takes the mic and says, "A lot of people have been wondering what's going on with him lately. Why the sudden change? This isn't the Apollo we knew." Crews says, to be honest, we know nothing about him. He's been humble, nice, and respectful for too long, but he's not receiving the same respect in return, being who he is and who his family is. That's not acceptable. He's not from the hood or the suburbs. He's from Nigeria. Yes, he's going to be a Nigerian sympathizer. So, Apollo Crews is going to be a guy from Nigeria, representing Nigeria. And how much it's just... Is he actually from Nigeria? No, he is not. He was born in Sacramento, California, so we're going to have his ancestors might be from Nigeria, that's all fine and good and everything, but he's not from Nigeria. So, I don't know why they want to go with that, but that's what they're going to do. Now he is he's a real African American. Why? If this guy's not really from Nigeria, there's gonna be people who's gonna sniff this out, and they're going to. Remember when Kofi Kingston was supposed to be from Jamaica? How well that go? That was before social media. That was in 2007, I believe. That was before social media. Some British journalist sniffed that stuff out and was like, and he ended up dropping his accent right before it, though. Oh, boy. His ancestors are supposed to be Nigerian royalty. He goes on about his great-grandfather ruling lands in Nigeria. He explains how the color in his gear represents wealth, dominance, and power. Big E found that out firsthand last week. Big E told him to go back to Kading, but he went back to his roots instead. Handled it like his grandfather would. Speaks out with a bit of an accent now, saying he showed Big E the steel last week, and he guaranteed Big E will never disrespect him again. And as far as Shinsuke Nakamura tonight, he will suffer the same outcomes. Nakamura, and then they have a match. And WWE decides they're going to 50-50 these guys. Crews uses his scarf in the corner for leverage, sending Nakamura into the corner. Crews follows up with a kick to the back of the neck. Crews with an angle slam for the pin and the win in the middle of the ring. After the match, he stands tall as the music hits. So, apparently, he's in Nigeria. Wow. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Maybe that's what he was. I never saw him as Uwan Nation. I don't know what his gimmick was with the Uwan Nation. So maybe this is him doing his Uwan Nation gimmick only as Apollo Crews. I have no idea what his Uwan Nation gimmick actually is, but and especially with this honestly feels like WWE is not reading the room. Having him go out there saying, I'm a real African American, or the real African American. It just doesn't seem like something that you should really be poking the bear with. Like, if the guy is, if his family's from Nigeria, that's fine, whatever, don't give a shit, really. But it just seems like something that WWE shouldn't be doing. But who knows what the hell they're going to be doing. What's going on? Where it's just WWE. I can see this gimmick going nowhere, or this could be going somewhere. But it could go down the tube. It could go. I just don't think this gimmick's going to take him as far as you say as it possibly could if it was a good gimmick, because honestly, we've seen gimmicks like this before and it just doesn't work, especially not in this day and age. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna hold judgment yet. I mean, the promo was fine, the match was fine. I don't know. They needed to do something with Apollo Crews. As I said a couple weeks ago, when his title card came up and it said he's been in WWE for 5 years, and all he has to show for it is a measly U.S. Championship reign that nobody fucking remembers. They need to do something with him, or let him go. Plain and simple. Paul Heyman tells Roman Reigns about Bryan possibly getting a title shot at Fast Lane if he beats Jey Uso tonight. Reigns says, so the tag team match is scrapped. If Bryan wins tonight, Heyman says Roman thinks it over and would go back to commercial break. So, I see what Roman Reigns is trying to do. He is trying to get out of a match with Edge. He didn't want to see Edge at Fastlane. He wanted that title match, that tag team match scrapped. So, yeah. That is just... I don't know. I just think this is stupid as shit. You've had this guy for weeks pretty much begging to be acknowledged as the main event. All of a sudden it's like, I don't want to see Edge. Wow. Pretty much it was like, oh, well, this guy's no threat to me. He won the Rumble, but he's no threat to me. But as soon as he hits him with the spear, it's like, oh, this guy means business. That's exactly what's going on here. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes with Roman Reigns. So we have Tamina Snuka versus Liv Morgan. Why? Because that's why. Doesn't last very long. Tamina with the big Samoan drop. She yells while standing on Liv. Tamina grabs Liv and hits a big tilt-a-whirl slam for the pin and the win. Looks like there was no Billie Kay. Thank you. I can't fucking stand Billie Kay. Maybe she finally got the message to stay off our TV. Bianca is backstage. We go back to break. We come back. Adam Pearce in the ring with Sonya Deville. They talk about Belair being the future. Now she will make her WrestleMania 37 decision after winning the Women's Royal Rumble. They introduce her and out she comes. She mentions Rumble win, changing her life. Deville asks Belair who it will be. She asks it will be Raw Women's Champion Asuka. Get a video package for her. Is it going to be SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks? We get another video package. Belair says she knows everyone has been patiently waiting for her decision. And she talks about how her mother told her life is all about making the right decision. And Son is about to make her decision about the music and outcomes. Reginald Carmella Sommelier. Reginald says Belair's mother is right because the decision will impact her future in WWE. He talks about how Belair got an up-close look at Banks and how she works when she teamed with her last week. Reginald goes on about how Belair's journey has been inspiring and she is special. He knows deep down in her heart that Belair's dream will dissolve quickly into an horrible nightmare if she chooses to face Banks. Obviously, you know where this is going. He's trying to get Bianca Belair to take on Asuka so Carmella can get Banks at WrestleMania. There's a rumor, and I saw it somewhere today on one of these dirt sheets, that Belair picks Sasha Banks, but that WWE might add Carmella to the match. I'm like, what? You're not going to do this again, are you? Remember 2019, how they fucked Becky Lynch out of her first one-on-one match against Ronda Rousey? You're going to do the same thing to fucking Bianca Belair and add Carmella to their match? No. If Carmella gets a title match, it happens, she doesn't deserve one. She's already had two and lost them both clean. She gets it at Fastlane. She loses at Fastlane. We go to WrestleMania. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks 1-on-1. Period. He goes on. Belair gets in the face. The music hit. Out comes Sasha Banks. Banks tells Reginald how she's already told him to never speak to her for her. She pushes him out of the way. She tells Belair she's more than a champion. She's the standard, and if Banks wants to make history and be the topic of conversation, she should choose the boss. Banks doesn't think this Belair is the EST of WWE because she is the best and number one, which makes Belair second best. Banks laughs and drops the mic, raising the title in the air. Belair says she's going to make Banks eat her words at the grandest stage of them all, and it's going to take the title and show the entire world, how she's the strongest, fastest, and everything else. Belair points up to the WrestleMania 30 sign and tells Banks it's on. Belair's music starts up and the fireworks go off. Banks raises the title. Belair keeps pointing to the sign to end the segment. So, Carmella's not going to be happy. But we still have, again, Fast Lane. But again, Carmella's had 2 championship opportunities and got beat both times. I am sick and tired of the same people getting title shot over and over and over and over again. Same thing with Apollo Crews. He came out 2 weeks ago, wanted a title opportunity against Big E, even though Big E beat him 3 fucking times. There's other people on these goddamn rosters. Give other people a chance. Fuck. So it's great. It's going to be great at least to see Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at Fastlane, because and I don't count the match at the Elimination Chamber because that was a throwaway. Everyone knew it was going to be a throwaway. But the last 3 real title matches have been Kevin fucking Owens. So let's go with Daniel Bryan and see what happens there. So to come, we have all those matches. See Corbin warming up backstage. Sami and his film crew appear, interviews Corbin, and asks what he thinks about the conspiracy against Sami. Corbin just wants to know why they're teaming up tonight. Sami says it was his idea. Says he needs a big win and they have chemistry. He believes they can eventually be champions if they work together. They have a few words, and Corbin isn't interested. So we go to that match: the Street Profits versus Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin. Now, of course, why was this match happening? Why are the Street Profits down here? Because I believe it was last week or during the pay-per-view. Sonya Deville told them off. It's like, listen, I think it was actually at the pre-show of Elimination Chamber. She told them off. I was like, listen, we have other tag teams. You had your shot. You had the championship for as long as you did. It's time. You have to go back down and work your way back up. So no title shot for you. And I'm like, yes, we do not need to have rematches. Enough of that. If you earn them or you build the story to getting a rematch, that's fine. But we don't need to have somebody like the Street Profits lose the tag team titles and then, well, you get a rematch 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later. Now, they got to work their way up. They got to beat Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin. They got to beat the Mysterios. They got to beat anybody else who's going to be on this roster as a tag team. When Jimmy gets back, you have Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. They need to go through them. They need to go through the Alpha Academy. Everybody. If they want to have the tag team champions, they need championships again. They need to go through everybody just like everyone else needs to go through them too. So, the Profits take control at the end, running wild. Corbin sent to the floor, and Dawkins hits a running neckbreaker on Sami. Ford goes to the top, followed by the big frog splash on Sami for the pin and the win. Ford and Dawkins celebrate, and that is that. Caleb Braxton is backstage with Daniel Bryan. He talks about his chances of facing Edge at WrestleMania. Says they are pretty damn good. He just has to beat Jey Uso tonight and Reigns at Fastlane. He feels like he could beat Reigns. He goes on about he respects Edge, but he says he doesn't know if Edge has what it takes to beat Reigns. Edge appears and they have a few friendly words. Who can beat who? Edge asks who will win if they face at WrestleMania, and Bryan says he will keep that answer to himself. Says as fun it is to talk about possibilities, it doesn't matter if he can't beat Jey tonight. Bryan walks off, and Edge says he will see him later. So, yeah. One thing that's pissing a lot of people off who want to see this match is that WWE keeps teasing Edge versus Daniel Bryan. The only way Edge versus Daniel Bryan is going to happen is if Edge goes and wins the title at WrestleMania and then faces Daniel Bryan later on this year. I don't want to see Edge as Universal Champion. I don't want to see him anywhere near Daniel Bryan. Edge should be home retired. Just saying. Out comes Seth Rollins. He comes back from break. He talks about the complaint he sent WWE management last week. He goes on about how it got a great response and trended on social media. He's quickly interrupted by Cesaro. Cesaro emerges to the ring and looks ready to fight. Rollins starts pleading and talks about how they go a long way back together. Says previously what happened wasn't his fault. It won't happen again. Rollins says last week he didn't call Cesaro a loser. Twitter just blew up and with what he said way out of proportion. He asked for a chance to make it right, and Rollins goes on about how Cesaro is a star. Just look at you. Who says Cesaro can't grab that brass ring and crash the glass ceiling? Oh, I know somebody. His name is Vince McMahon. He goes on about Cesaro's strength and skill. Rollins says Cesaro has it all, so why is it that he always seems to come up short? Again, Vince McMahon. That's why. We have said for years how much Cesaro should be in the title picture. How many times Cesaro should have gotten a title shot, should have been WWE Champion, maybe even Universal Champion or World Champion when he first started. But Vince McMahon doesn't like the fact that his promos don't sound like Vince McMahon wants them to sound. Vince McMahon can't get behind this guy. That's why. Cesaro could be a main event level guy for this company, be a main event champion, and they will not fucking get behind him. It's a shame. Cesaro is so fucking good and they will not get behind him. And Rollins says what is missing is Killer Instinct. He has it and can give it to Cesaro. Honestly, no. Killer Instinct is not something that you can give somebody. You either got it or you don't. Rollins comes back to lead SmackDown in the future, and he will start by leading Cesaro if he'll let him. Rollins has grabbed the brass ring and shattered the glass ceiling. He's done everything Cesaro has only dreamed of, but he wants to give that to Cesaro. Rollins tells him to imagine them working together on SmackDown. They would be unstoppable. Rollins goes on and says, if Cesaro wouldn't listen 2 weeks ago, he would end up winning the Elimination Chamber and would be Universal Champion now. I highly doubt that. Rollins mentions a second chance and tells Cesaro to embrace the vision. Let him lead. Rollins tells Cesaro he doesn't have to answer now. Take a week or two, think it over, and come back. Rollins says he will be waiting if he's ready. Cesaro tackles Rollins and positions for the swing. Rollins yells at Cesaro to put him down. He starts swinging and again and again and again. He finally lets go, and Rollins gets up, stumbling around. Cesaro levels him with a big uppercut, exits the ring, and that is that. So I take it that was a no. That was a big time no. So yes, of course they're always going to have this thing on WWE television with Cesaro. Why can't you get past the glass ceiling? Why can't you grab that invisible brass ring? Well, Vince McMahon, because when he reaches the ceiling to smash it, the ceiling gets raised. When he's right at the grasp of the brass ring gets raised. And he just can never get either. Because Vince McMahon, as I said before, sees no value in Cesaro. Then we go to a main event. Cesaro. Jey Uso versus Daniel Bryan. This was a really good match. These two going out there beating the hell out of each other. It's having a lot of time. Unfortunately, it goes to a double count out. Yes. Now, of course, if Jey Uso lost to Daniel, here's the thing. Daniel Bryan cannot lose to Jey. Jey cannot lose to Daniel Bryan because you don't want to do that. You book yourself into a corner putting these two in a match this close to WrestleMania. You can't have either one lose. So what do? Double count out. Uso brings Bryan back in the ring, but Bryan applies the yes knock. Reigns makes a save out of nowhere, beats him up but Bryan pulls Reigns into the corner, into the S-lock. But Uso quickly makes a save. The boos get louder as Reigns waits in the corner for Bryan to get up. Delivers the big spear, then applies the guillotine submission, and Reigns breaks the hold and gets back into his feet, taking the Universal title from Paul Heyman. Talks some more trash to Bryan and stands up. Raises the belt as the Post Elimination Chmaber edition of SmackDown goes off the air. And no Edge. Where was Edge to save Daniel Bryan? Because that would have been a way for them to set up the tag team match that Edge and Roman Reigns made mention of earlier in the show. Don't know. I don't know. I would rather see these two in a match at WrestleMania, in my opinion. I think it would be so much better for the show. But instead we have to give spear versus spear, Edge versus Roman Reigns. Something that nobody in the end is going to fucking like. I guarantee it. So yeah, WWE SmackDown. It was a decent show. I would take the women's match out of there. It just was blah. Tamina cannot fucking wrestle for the life of her. Just... Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso, again, those two never disappoint. I really would love to see what Jimmy could do on his own. As you have, I know you don't want to break up the Usos as a whole, but I would love to see if Jimmy could do as well as his brother when he comes back. Will that happen? I don't have a clue. But I I have no complaints on this show. Other than, yeah. So that's like, other than, the only complaint I really have is that fact that you have Roman Reigns turning out to be, showing his true colors. He's not a big, tough, badass. He's a little whiny ass little bitch. He's a coward. He thinks, oh, if this person's weak, that he'll have no problem beating them down. But the moment this motherfucker can beat them down, beat them up, it's like, oh, I'm out of here. I can't do this. Nope, nope, nope. No, thank you. So yeah, that's SmackDown for you. But that is your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Hit like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the France Club. And find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys Monday for Raw. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.